This is TWiT.
Well, yeah, this is the big news. As we've all known, we've been tracking all year Android 12. We've been going through developer previews for months now, and Android 12 Beta 1 is out. It was unveiled at Google I/O earlier today, and with it is the beginning of Material You. I don't know how I feel about that one. Friend of the show, Samir Samat, the VP of Product Management for Android and Google Play, calls it the biggest design change in Android's history. Which I think is a little hyperbole, Samir, but with all due respect. Material You is customization that reaches across all of Google's products. On the phone, wallpaper sets the design of the devices, color, style, sliders, widgets, big buttons throughout, more animations. Quick settings have larger, more colorful buttons. Fully redesigned widget platform as we see the resurgence of widgets again. The new power button menu is no more, moving the Google Pay and smart home controls into the new quick settings. And you hold the power button now to summon the assistant, similar to what Samsung has done with Bixby for a few years. So we've seen leaks of this. We got a sense of what was coming, what I like to refer to as chunky Android. I, for one, believe the switch to Material, the initial switch to Material, still was the biggest design change in Android's history because it went from being very piecemeal to a actual built, thought out design aesthetic. But I do understand why Samir would say this is the most impactful change since that happened, because it does make it, it is reaching out so further into the tendrils of the operating system. Michael, I'm really curious what you think of the new look with Android 12 beta. What do you think of the new chunky Android?
Oh, so I have so many thoughts about this because,
awesome.
As you know, I'm super enthusiastic about material design. It's one of the things I'm passionate about from way back when. So when that came out, that really unified apps. So they were almost constrained to really constrained to the material system. So all things kind of look the same, or at least they really fit a set pattern. And I think this evolution now, what it seems to me is it's all, instead of the apps all kind of looking the same all the time, apps are now going to change based on context. So it could be based on your wallpaper. So now that your own app might have color theming based on a wallpaper, perhaps time of day or some other things coming up. You could see how that could happen. But anyway, also about accessibility, they said you'd be able to control a lot of things within the app much more closely. So I think what's going to happen now is apps themselves are going to change a lot more themselves. So instead of an app looking the same all the time, apps now are going to start changing a lot. This could be interesting.
Yeah, and it's it almost reminds me of what we saw a couple of years ago with the introduction of the dark theme and the light theme, and picking up the context of, okay, it's nighttime, switch to dark mode. You don't have to self-select it, and the idea of having the interface alter with you based on your surroundings or your context or the app you're using. I do think that's really, really interesting. I don't know, Jason, now that it's official, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely looking forward to it. I think, yes, it's hyperbole for him to say that this is the biggest change. I would actually agree with what you said, Ron. Material design was the biggest, version to version, totally pull the rug out from underneath what was there and give you a new look.
It was a redesign. It was a redesign.
Yeah. This feels kind of like an evolution of material design. What I think is really what I'm excited about is just the cross-device customization between this. They kind of hinted at a Nest device and, your Chromecast with Google TV and your smartphone all being part of this kind of connected personalization network. And I'm curious to see how seamlessly that operates, whether that's something that I actually want. If I had a Nest thermostat in my house, would I want it to reflect the shade of purple that my UI elements on my phone suddenly turned to because of the wallpaper I had installed? I don't know, but I'm curious to see what that looks like in action. That might actually be kind of cool when I turn my TV on, to have some sort of synergy between the view of what's up there and what's on my phone. That, I don't know, that is new, but at the same time, a lot of these elements, you're right. It's kind of a next step for material design and I do have a version, or I have the first beta running on my phone right now, which is, I don't know, it's maybe limited compared to, if you do the overhead shot, compared to what we're going to get later. So, they did release the beta. I mean, this looks normal, right? Like, and actually the power button still gives me the power, the power control menu. So I think that's going to come at a later time. But where you really see some of these differences is the pull down. You get the current theme, which I'm not sure where the color pattern is on this theme. I don't think that they have the wallpaper kind of conforming color palette going yet on this. And mind you, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play around with it because I've been producing Security Now leading up to this show as well. But you've got some of the elements, the larger kind of the larger slider, which at first when I saw that on some of the leaked photos, I thought looked dumb. But the more I think about it, the more I actually kind of like it, because sometimes these things are really hard to grab with a finger, and having it a little bit larger makes a lot of sense. Although you lose a lot of space in
it just looks so thick. It just looks so thick.
Yeah, thick's a good word for it. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what you're going to start seeing is lots of big thick lines and shapes. Like that also had that big purple shape.
Yeah.
That's, I think, that kind of what the new language is going to be, like lots of big shapes. I don't know how to say it any other way.
Yeah. Big purple shapes. The future of Android, big purple shapes.
Big purple shapes or blue shapes or pink shapes.
Change the whole design theme of the show from green to purple.
Yeah. But, and some of the changes coming to widgets and how widgets are going to look. I mean, again, it really will come down to how much developers adopt some of this new language as well. And even with material design, when that first happened, it took a while to get some cohesion going.
Yep.
And I'm concerned that we're going to experience that again. And then you're going to be living kind of in both worlds, some old looking widgets compared to the new looking widgets and stuff like that. Mike, from a developer perspective, I mean, once again, this is more work for a developer to do, but is there enough incentive? Like, do you think developers are going to get excited about reduxing their apps to conform to some of these new rules?
I mean, it's the same as always. Hopefully there will be a consumer demand for it, which will drive us needing to do it, but there's going to be a lot of work. And the same as always, Android, I mean, this is a little bit inside baseball, but a big thing I think we're not even talking about here that's coming to Android is Compose, which is a whole new UI layout, a whole new layout container. And that's really inside baseball. But the reason I bring it up now is it is not going to be Material U compliant right out of the gate. Right. It's just like previous times where even when they introduced Material the first time, there was all sorts of interesting components. In fact, I don't think we even had a fab component when Material was first introduced.
Right. No, I think you're right. I don't think that we did. I think I remember that.
That's like the main thing, that was one of the signature components. So it's going to be the same this time around.
Okay.
Where it's all really neat. It's just going to be work for the developer to implement.
Right. Interesting. Well, best case scenario, I'm optimistic.
It's work that I like doing.
Yeah.
So I am optimistic and I welcome it. It seems really fun and neat.
Yeah.
Like the UI looks great. So.
And look, hey, we had the opportunity to see Matias Duarte once again. And it had been a while, Matias. Thank you for bringing your design aesthetic to Android and for blessing the stage with your amazing shirt and talking about it. He's so smart with this stuff. He literally puts his a nice solid fingerprint on a lot of the stuff. Not to give him all of the
no, but you need some level of vision. Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say you need some level of vision, and he's where it's at. And so, yeah, I think that was great. So.
Yeah.